How we doing, everybody, and welcome back to another Path of Diablo 2 video guide. Today I'm going to be showcasing our Dual Dreamer that was just recently patched in the last patch of Diablo patch, so it is officially fixed. I got the character built, up and running, and as always I'm going to give you a brief gameplay tutorial so you guys can kind of see how it plays. At the very end I did record a full Ubers, which I did yesterday, kind of with suboptimum gear. I did it with you know, a tiles chest and stuff like that. I did die once, but that was due to me not paying attention. You can definitely do it without dying. Definitely hardcore viable. Very, very strong character. With that being said, let's hop into a map really quick. This isn't going to be the fastest character of all time, but it is very, very strong and it is fun to play. The only map I have right now is a T2, so we're going to hop into that. And yeah, let's get to getting it. We're kind of just going to boss rush here, but your main attacking ability is going to be Zeal, obviously. And in our offhand, we are running the Conviction Aura. We have no problem with any lightning immunes. You do kind of have to click a lot, but as you can see, everything goes down in like 1 or 2 hits. You do need quite a bit of attack rating. Looks like our mercenary died already. That's one thing I do need to kind of work on with this build so far, is the mercenary. But I'll kind of show you what he's rocking as well. Usually you can keep him alive. As you guys can see, everything just gets completely shredded. Here's the chant pack. Doing big damage in here. Oh, it's a triple champ. Here's the other champs over here. They came out really quick. We're also wearing Drac, so we got our life tap proc, and once that procs, you're basically unkillable. The only downside is it's only like a 10% chance to cast it, so when you're in situations like this, the stuff is going to die before you can actually get it life tapped. Like I said, it's a very fun build. It is kind of expensive. It's definitely going to be more of a late game build than an early game build. You do need several high rune worth of gear to get it up and running, specifically 2 Jaw, which at this point in ladder, usually they're not too hard to get a hold of, but I paid about 4 high rune each for these 2 Jaw that I had to get. Get charge bugged. That's one thing I will mention, is if you get charge bugs, if you're charging around and you get stuck in an animation, if you double tap W and weapon swap really quickly, it'll unbug your character. That is a vanilla bug with no patch in sight, unfortunately. See if I can find the boss here. Just a T2, so I'm not too super concerned about killing everything on the map. And as always, I'll go over the gear and the stats and everything else. Give you some impossible improvements over what I'm using. You can dump an impossible amount of currency into this build if you really choose to do so. Get our shield back up again. We'll clear this out a little bit before we hit the boss. Because with the way Zeal works, is you kind of just swipe at everything around you. Unfortunately, you can't target it very well. These guys, just kidding. They're like stuck in a portal or something. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Go! There we go, we got our life tap proc on right away. You can see this guy just gets absolutely wrecked. Our life isn't even moving once we have our life tap on. And he's gone. Gonna gimmer shed. This can basically clear any content in the game. Like I said, it's not the fastest. I wouldn't be recommending like running, you know, a super fast chaos or anything on this. You can definitely do kill Bale if you need. Has no problems with any content. You do a lot of lightning and physical damage, so Alright, we'll call that there. Get back to Act 1 here. Alright, starting with our skill tree today. First 20 points are you're going to pop it into Resist Lightning. Our second 20 points we're going to pop into Salvation. These are both going to be synergies of our Holy Shock. Our second 20 points we are going to pop into Zeal here. Our fourth 20 points we are going to pop into Conviction. And you don't actually have to put 20 points in this, you just need to make sure it's above level 25. So I could actually put 19 points in it to hit level 25 based on my current gear. But keep in mind if you're going to be doing like Declone or Ubers or something, you know, if you go into Declone, you can't take your Annie with you, so that's your point right there. So you might as well just max it, otherwise you're going to have to find, you know, you're going to have to add an extra point into here somewhere. So just keep that in mind. And we're going to put 1 point into Dashing Strike in the combat tree here. This is going to be mostly to reset your Merc, but also you can, it's basically a teleport, but you can only teleport to a mob. And then all of our other points are going to be prerequisites, and everything else we're going to dump into Holy Shield, so my Holy Shield is level 17. So we'll go over that one more time really quickly here. 20 points Res Lightning, 20 points Salvation, 20 points Zeal, 20 points Conviction, 1 point into Dashing Strike, everything else into Holy Shield. Alright, beautiful. As far as our stats go here, you kind of have an option. If you're going to use a Spirit, I'd recommend using a Pally Spirit because they require way less strength. When I did my build yesterday, I put 156 strength because I had a Spirit Monarch, and then I just made another Pally Spirit Shield. So I would go with just whatever strength you require. In this case, it would be like 114. We are going to do max block in this build. Like I said, I made a few gear changes yesterday, so my max block is actually 73. You're going to want to make 75% block chance, and actually if I put on my... Nope, that's strength, not dex. Yeah, 75% block chance. Just get that there. You're going to want that for sure. And then we're going to dump everything else into Vitality, and you are good to go. Alright, as far as gear, let's hop into it. One thing I will note right off the bat is you do have to hit a 72% increased attack speed. That's going to be the breakpoint that you're going to want to hit for max attack speed. How you do that is kind of up to you. As you guys can see in my weapon here, I've got some faster attack rate and some ED jewels, stuff like that. That's how I do it. So start off with your weapon. 6-socketed lightsaber is going to be your best bet. It attacks super quick, does a lot of damage, ignores target's defense, all that good stuff. 6-socket is going to be your best, 5 or 4 or whatever you can afford. Definitely okay to start out with, but you're going to want that 5 or 6 socket for sure. Next we go to the helmet. This is going to be the main piece of the build that we're going to need. It's going to be the Dream. It is Yo Ja Po. And this gives us 13 Holy Shock. They actually changed the way it reads out, so it's actually, I believe, the 1% increased charge bolt sentry projectile speed. That's the one thing that doesn't fit if you look this up. The way he fixed aura stacking is by adding that weird thing. Don't worry about what this says, it works fine. Second Dream, this is, like I said, the Dreamer. We're going to need a Dream also in a Pally Shield. This is a 43 all-res shield. You can do it in a Rondochet or a Sacred Targe, whatever. You want high defense, good block chance, all that good stuff. And definitely a 40 plus, in my opinion. You're going to be putting a lot of currency into the shield to make the rune word. You might as well make it a good shield as well. Alright. For the chest, I'm actually using a 4-socketed Tal Rasha's Guardian. And that is because that gives me a good chunk of Magic Find, which actually makes my Magic Find about 250 with this armor, between the few other things that give me a smidge of Magic Find here. So as you can see, I got 250 Magic Find. If you're going like a pure Uber killer, you can do like lightning facets in it. That'd probably help out your damage a little bit. Or if you need more attack rating, you can put attack rating in the chest. Other chests you could use is like a Guardian's Angel. You can use like a shaft stop like this. Something like that. It's going to reduce your physical damage taken. That's going to help you out quite a bit. I've got 3 15% attack speed in this guy right here, so you could do something like that if you didn't have a great lightsaber. The reason why I like this, and I actually did Ubers with this actual chest on yesterday, is the resistance. It gives you a good chunk of resistance. So if I were to take this off and put this on, you can see what it does to my resistances. They're not great. Whereas if I put this guy on, it actually maxes out 2 my res and almost maxes my cold res. And then with that and fade, which I proc off my mercenary,
Good day.
Greetings.
I have more than enough resistances to handle Ubers. And declone as well, I would imagine. I didn't do declone, but... Alright, next up. Gloves. I'm using Drex. Definitely the only thing you're going to want to use for Ubers. If you're just doing regular stuff, just doing maps or whatever, you can use like a laying of hands for the attack speed or anything like that if you want. But for Ubers, I'm using Drax. Boots. Also using Gore Riders. This is for Ubers. You can also use like a War Travelers. You can use a Nats Boots. You can use Treks, Elders, whatever to max out your resistances if you want. Definitely go with the Gores if you're going to be doing Ubers for the Open Wounds and the Bleed and the Deadly Strike, Crushing Blow, all that good stuff. Amulet, I'm using a High Lords. Like I said earlier, the best thing you're probably going to want to use is going to be a Metal Grids, but those are kind of expensive, so if you don't want to use that, you can use any High Lords. I got like 4 High Lords, so I just threw this on. It definitely did the job, but that Metal Grid gives you that attack rating and makes you hit more of your shots, so you might be able to do it a little bit quicker than I did with Metal Grid on. Belts, I'm using a Verdungos, and then obviously swapping to the T-Gods for Ubers. So those are going to be the 2 belts that I would recommend using. No need to use anything else. First ring, Raven Frost. This is a god-awful Raven. You'd probably want it closer to like the 200 plus attack rating Ravens. I have like 10 of these. I don't know why I didn't grab a better one. But yeah, 240, 250 attack rating Raven is going to be where you want. And then as much dex as you can. That's going to help your max block. And then I've got a BK ring here. 5% 1 all skills BK ring. And yeah, this is the gear that I killed Uber with. Kind of scroll over them all really quickly here so you can see all the stats once again. On weapon swap, like I showed you earlier, I've got a Pally Spirit here for 2 all skills. And then I'm using a Silence. This is just so I can have the Cleansing Aura, so I don't have to waste a point into it. The preferred weapon here would probably be a CTA. You're going to get that 1 extra skill, going to get a tiny bit of life. Just keep in mind that CTAs are nerfed in pod, and I don't actually have one made. So I threw this guy on. If my mercenary dies and I want to get rid of some poison, I can throw the Cleansing Aura on, just hit W for a second, and you're good to go. Alright, as far as charms, we got our 18, 10, 10 Annie here. I got a 3, 10, 18 Pally Hellfire Torch. And then I just have a lot of attack rating and lifers, just to make sure that we're hitting. You can also use offensive GCs if you want, just keep in mind you're going to have to make up that attack rating somewhere. So if you maybe have a Metal Grids instead of a High Lords and you want to throw in a few offensive attack ratings, you just have to get that conviction to level 25. That's what's going to cancel out Uber Mephisto's conviction, and then you don't even have to worry about resistances and Ubers. A couple Magic Find Small Charms, so I can actually get rid of these, and I can throw in a couple lifers or some more attack rating charms. But definitely you can get some small charms, like I could use like an 11 small charm here, and try to get my resistances capped out if I really wanted to. Currently on our mercenary, I am rocking a Treachery. I don't know if this is the best option. I probably should actually have this Shaft Stop on him. Another option we could use is if you wanted to use an Eth Treachery, that'd probably be a little bit better for him. A Fort or anything like that might be a little bit better. This is just kind of what I had laying around, so I threw this on him. For his helmet, we have a Steel Shade. Lots of attack speed in this guy. I've got 2 gems and a melee splash in there. Gives you a good chunk of replen life and life gained on hit. That helps keep him alive a little bit normally. And then for the weapon, I've got an Eth Thresher Pride. This gives him a level 16 concentration aura. Just gives him a good chunk of damage. Deadly Strike, all that good stuff. He's currently doing about 1483 damage. He normally does pretty good in maps and stuff. Obviously, you just saw him die there, but If I had a better chest on him, he'd probably stay alive a little bit longer. This is actually even a bad treachery, even for not being ethereal. It's only got 240. But it's nice because this is what I use to pre-buff myself, so.
I'll put that to good use.
But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I'm gonna throw in the Uber video at the end here, so I'm actually gonna wrap up the video right now. I might have to mute the audio on the Uber video because I was listening to music at the time. I did stream it over at twitch.tv/littlewillis121, so if you want to check out the VOD, it is up over there with all my commentary and me cursing at dying. With that being said, thanks for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Alright, boys, see what we got. 1613 Sork.
On my way through the night, please give me some more time. I can be